Come on now, you can do better than that. Once again, good morning.
Good morning.
Exactly. You got to wake up. I understand that. You got to loosen yourself up. I want you to be comfortable right now. All right? Loosen yourself up. That's the problem with us. We're too tight. We can't be tight. You got to relax your mind, your body, and your soul. So loosen yourself up. Loosen yourself up. Okay, you have a booklet there. Okay, and that booklet, I'm going to go over some things overall. Again, John, by the way, that was 1986. All right, and then tell you a little bit about myself. I'm no different than anyone here, no different. Born and raised here in Bridgeport, okay? Born and raised. I'm from Bearsy Terrace, all right? Went to Central High School, left Central High School, did 2 months at Norfolk State in Virginia. And the reason why I did 2 months is because my britches was too big, okay? The coach basically said he needed everyone to run, condition, get yourself together, okay? I didn't do that. I got so caught up in Virginia, and I got so caught up in being around my people, and it's a black school, and I just got caught up in the partying life, okay? And that partying life led me to come back here to Bridgeport. You know, it was like, again, in August when we went down, and it was the same van that dropped me off, and then I come around the corner, and it's the same van that's right there, and I have no idea why that van was there. I had no idea, but all I knew was my father was there to pick me up. And the embarrassing part was it was a nice day, and everybody was out there, and, you know, the embarrassing thing about it was I had to pack my stuff, and I had to leave. And then I had to come back here, okay? No school. So the scholarship that I received, the 4-year scholarship that I received was gone, So that was a Friday, okay? And that Monday morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, my father woke me up and said, get up and get out, okay? Get up and get out. What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? Well, go get a job. Go get a job, because you're not going to do what you did when you left here. You're not going to do that. Okay, so 6 o'clock, I was gone. They were gone. 6 o'clock, I was out. What job am I going to find 6 o'clock in the morning? What job? Didn't have any idea. So I camped myself in the back of our backyard. I camped out there. It was cold. Okay, it was cold. I camped myself. Okay, so at the same time, I had to make a decision. And my decision was I had to get a job. And that job, first job that I received, was at UPS. And oh my gosh, UPS, that was the worst job ever. For those who work at UPS, my blessing, no disrespect. It just was not for me, because it was about labor. And then when you see little boxes, you thinking that you're gonna pick up a little box that's nothing. The little boxes were heavier than the bigger box. And it was a truck that I had to load, okay? I couldn't do it. I lasted maybe about 2 days. And I begged my parents, okay? I'll go to Housatonic. I'll do whatever I need to do, okay? And they decide, I say, if you want to go back to school, it have to be under your guidelines. You're going to have to be the one to do what you got to do, okay? So that was there for me to make that decision. And that's what I ended up doing. I did a year at Housatonic. I ended up at Manitowoc Community College up in Waterbury. I was up at a state championship game at Central Connecticut back then. A coach ran up to me and said, I heard you was in town. Do you want to go to school? Is it free? Yes, it's free. So I ended up in Waterbury. I played 1 year there. I wanted to play 3 out of 4-year sport. All right, I graduated the next year, and I ended up at Sacred Heart University. All right, and it was back home. So that's the best thing for me. So I give you that spill because I just want you to understand, even for the kids who are in here, or for the young men that are in here, young ladies that are in here, you got to understand something, that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. It's what you do with that mistake what counts. It's what you do with that mistake. So you have to understand that you're going to put yourself in a position. You're going to put yourself in that position. And when you put yourself in that position, what you're going to do with your results? What are you going to do? Okay? So by the results, good thing came out of it. Because I knew it was my time to come back and pay back to what I'm doing right now to pay back. Okay, I have 15 years, okay, 15 years at the Bridgeport Juvenile Detention Center. Okay, I started off as a regular staff, okay, on a part-time level. Okay, then I became a JDO, that's a juvenile detention officer. I was a JDO for no more than 8 months, okay, 8 months. I end up full-time JDO in that 8 months. They came to me a year later to become a person in charge. That's a PIC. That's end up becoming a shift supervisor. I prefer to work the 12 to 8 shift because I was coaching high school ball, so it gave me the opportunity to do that. So in the mix of doing that, I did that for 10 years. I did that for 10 years, okay, and I end up deputy superintendent, and that's what I am right now. I'm a deputy superintendent for Bridgeport Juvenile Detention. I'm still working at 12 to 8 shift. It goes along with me coaching high school ball. Okay, I started coaching in 1989 at Bridgeport Central. I left Bridgeport Central. I went over there to Bullhaven, myself and Mark Dickey. I left there, and for the last 14 years, I've been at West Hill High School. Okay, so again, I just want you to understand this is experience. So when I go over this resolution here, I want you to understand. I hear it. I hear it from all angles. Okay, I hear it as a coach. Okay, I hear it as a fan. I hear it as a parent. Okay, because I also have 4 kids, and my son was also playing high school basketball. My daughter was playing for a year. She ended up playing softball. Okay, then my middle daughter, okay, she played soccer for 4 years, and she ran track for 4 years. Okay, so I get it. Okay, I get it, and I also had to talk to my kids to understand that they have to understand too. Now, I have to wear 2 hats. Okay, I have to wear the hat as a father. I have to wear the hat as a coach. So I'm hearing what my daughter is saying. I hear what she's saying. But at the same time, I have to say to her that it does not matter what that coach says. It matters what you say and how you go about it. Okay, as long as that coach is not putting his hands on you, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, who's right or wrong? Who are they going to listen to? And if a coach is not putting his hand on your kids, then it's your kid's responsibility to take the direction. And that's what we don't do sometimes as parents. That's what we don't do. Sometimes we just jump the gun. We're jump the gun. We're jump to see, oh no, are you kidding me? You're not going to put your hands on Bobby, or you're not going to talk to her like that. Listen, it's not always like that. Time changed, and within time changing, things change. But you got to listen. You got to listen. You got to listen to what's in front of you. You have to listen to what's ahead of you. Okay, because see, it's a privilege to play a sport. It's a privilege. Okay? It's up to you to make it fun for your sons and your daughters. It's not about us as parents, because we had that opportunity, and because we didn't do what we needed to do, we're going to put all the emphasis and all the pressure and everything else into our kids. And when you do that, that's when the peer pressure comes into play. So you're not going to like some things that coaches are going to say. You're not going to like some things that umpires are going to say. You're not going to like some things that parents are going to say. It's how you handle it is going to be the clue. How you handle it. So I'm going to go into this briefly. Okay? You have the booklet in front of you. Okay? You have the booklet, and it's a lot. But I'm going to go through this, and there's going to be some key things that we're going to discuss. Some key elements to it we're going to discuss. Because it's important for you to understand that at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about our kids. It's about our kids. It's very important. So they talk about, as far as the conflict is concerned, that's anytime 2 or more have a disagreement. 2 or more have a disagreement, okay? when you look at the general perspective of everything, the general piece, okay, it's the anger, the hostility that come into play, the tension, the anxiety, and the most important part we want to stay away from is the violence. Look at the outcome. Talk about the outcome. We have to clarify to make sure that you have a clear understanding what the issue is. Then you have to learn how to accept and adjust to whatever those issues are. Then the helpful comes into play. How do you help the situation? You're going to help the situation by, number one, take yourself out of it. Take yourself out of the situation, because if you hear something and you see something, you're going to react. There's always two sides to the story. So you're going to always take yourself out, okay? Then you got to look at the inclusion, you got to look at the caring part. You got to care what you're up against. You got to care, because if you don't care what you're up against, it's going to cause some issues and it's going to cause some problems. And that's what this organization do not want. Issues and problems. Okay? No one's perfect. By no means. No one's perfect. But at the same time, you have to make sure you take the initiative time to put yourself in the other person's shoes. And we're going to talk more about that later. But you got to make sure you understand that. That's the key piece. Now, when you look at the conflict, and when you look at the behaviors that comes along with it, okay, it could be from a positive or a negative standpoint. The positive piece, okay, the positive piece about it is what you're looking at and what you see. That's the positive piece. The negative side is when you automatically jump into it. You jump into it without thinking about what you get, while thinking about the circumstances, about the situation that's going on at that particular time. So when you think negative, you're going to think negative right off the bat. And that's human nature. That's human nature. There's nothing we can do about it. But at the same time, keep this in mind. Always, before you even look at anything negative or you think about anything negative, look to your left. I want everybody to look to your left. Then look to your right. Who are in front of you? Who's to the left and who's to the right? Because to the left, there's still kids to the left. When you look to the right, there's other kids over there to the right. So at the same time, they are watching us as adults. They're watching us. So we can't run away from it. We got to be very careful how we handle it. Very careful. So when you're managing, okay, and you're trying to look at a dysfunctional situation, it can mean a lot of things. But at the same time, you got to understand what you're up against. And the reason why we want to look at that is because if you think for once that these things does not happen, we are fooling ourselves. It happens. It happens all over the world. And a lot of times they get away from this part. And the good thing that you guys have in front of you right here, you have an organization that set these things up for you. They set it up for you because they give you the clear understanding. The circumstance that go behind it is the outcome that could be on a negative standpoint. The fact that you guys right now have the opportunity in front of your peers to get this opportunity, you're getting it, you got the aspect from Will, you got the aspect from John, and you're getting it from me. So you're getting this. Some places did not get that opportunity. There was a group of folks that were out in California, and I think it was a soccer league. Okay? It was a soccer league. And the soccer umpire he pulled a card. He pulled that card out. In the midst of him pulling that card out, there was a parent that totally disagreed with what he was doing. So before you know it, that parent hopped over a fence, was in the umpire's face. Before you know it, there was a situation that occurred. And before you can think twice, that umpire was down. Down. What happened? What led to that? Why? It's because of that parent couldn't accept the call. That parent couldn't accept the situation that happened. So he attacked this umpire. Attacked him. What happened to the umpire? Gone. In front of everybody. Could not say